Jo Kent and Tony Husband. Now, I don't know whether you go foraging in the woods, but if you have been down to the woods recently, you may have noticed that this looks like being a bumper season for mushrooms. For Finn's Country this week, Roger has linked up with a fungi fanatic from the Sussex Wildlife Trust. Their plan is to explore a couple of woodlands near Henfield.
Normally, when it comes to mushrooms and fungus, the main question people ask is, can you eat it? But the answer is such a minefield, the deadly can look just like the delicious, that in these next few minutes I'm not going to even attempt to answer it. Because, apart from anything else, there are many more interesting questions about mushrooms.
The man with the answers is Neil Fletcher from the Sussex Wildlife Trust. And our first foray is into the Trust's reserve here at Woods Mill.
Neil, you were telling me to look upon mushrooms as like apples. What exactly do you mean by that?
Well, because the mushroom is like a fruit, but the real body of the fungus, the apple tree, if you like, is actually underground in the soil. The mushroom is just a means for producing spores, just as an apple is a means for producing seeds.
The mushrooms are everywhere. These are stump puffballs packed with tiny spores.
When it rains and raindrops fall on the surface, they cause an increase in pressure and a little puff of spores comes out and drifts away in the wind.
Oh, yes.
Something like that.
And that's all, those are spores, teeny tiny seeds.
Millions and millions of them.
Amazing colour.
Yeah, the whole wood here is stained green. It had a very interesting use about 100 years ago. The wood used to be used in marquetry for a particular kind of work called Tunbridge ware, where they would use this blue-green wood which has been stained by this fungus.
From Woods Mill, Neil takes me to another of his favourite foraging grounds, Henfield Common.
What's your own personal fascination with mushrooms?
It's almost the smell of them. At this time of year, when the dampness starts to come in the air and you get those early morning mists, I mean, you can smell the woodland and the earth, and you can actually smell the mushrooms growing.
They are completely fabulous to look at, but tell me a little bit more about the work that they do in a woods like this.
Yeah, these look fantastic, don't they? But it's a little known fact that 90% of all plants growing on land are associated with fungi when they're growing, particularly in their young stages. The fungi help to nourish them and to help give them sugars and other nutrients, and then as the plants grow, they then give some of that back to the fungi.
Now these are very familiar.
Yeah, these are the fly agaric mushrooms. They are extremely poisonous, but they're also hallucinogenic. There's quite a backstory with these. Legends go that the tribesmen in Lapland would drink the urine of reindeer that had been feasting on these mushrooms, because that concentrated the toxins, and that would give them the sensation of flying through the air. It's perhaps no surprise that Santa Claus comes from the North Pole, close to Lapland, and he's rather associated with flying reindeer.
You probably don't need reminding, but never eat wild mushrooms unless you really know what you're doing. Many of them are highly toxic, and their effects can be very unpredictable. Until we meet again, may you have a bountiful autumn.
Extraordinary, some fabulous pictures there. I've got to just say that it was our cameraman Ian DeCosta. Thanks to him for that. Actually, they always say, Sarah, if you do actually go foraging for mushrooms, as long as you know what you're doing, and that's the important bit, is to put a little bit of the mushroom, if you're cooking with it, in the fridge. So if something goes wrong, they know what you've eaten.
Oh, I'd just rather not eat. I'd just rather not poison myself.
Yes, just a little tidbit for you there. All right, weather-wise then, what are we talking about?
Thanks for that.